And we're going live. Welcome, everybody, to Heroes Rising. I'm here with some amazing speakers. My co host, E.A. Csolkovits, and I have Melinda, and I have Robert. Amazing people. We're here to deliver to you during your lunchtime, if it is your lunchtime, or if it's your breakfast time, whatever time it is. Join us. We have some amazing content to deliver. I'd like everybody just introduce themselves really quick, and then we're going to get started. Go ahead. Let's go with EA first.
I am E.A. Csolkovits, the founder and patriarch of Givers University, and it's a pleasure to be with you, and thank you so much for reaching out way back when to be a co-host with you, Raphael. Thank you.
Go ahead, Melinda.
Hi, I'm Melinda Holmes at Above the Lead. I'm a customer experience consultant, and I'm excited to be here at this Lunch and Learn with everyone.
And I guess I'll do the follow-up. My name is Robert Raymond Riopel. I'm an international best-selling author and a trainer that's been privileged to travel around the world several times, being able to personally train over 500,000 students so far in the mindset and how to create the life of your dreams.
Nice. So what we'd like to do is go ahead and have Melinda go first. So
Okay.
give me a second. I'm just setting stuff up over here. So Melinda has been a customer experience consultant for over 20 years. She's worked in customer service. She's helped people all over when it comes to hands down helping small businesses. She helps entrepreneurs. She loves working with entrepreneurs. And she's the person that will help you acclimate when it comes to different scenarios in business and small business. Melinda, go ahead, take it away, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. So once again, it's Friday. I'm excited. So happy Friday to everyone. We made it through this week. So I just wanted to say that. And just asking a question to everyone out there, like just thinking, like, what do you prefer? Do you prefer eating at home, or do you prefer going out to a restaurant, enjoying the experience of eating at a restaurant? So for me, I'm a foodie. I love to eat. And one thing I really love is going out to restaurants, spending time with family and friends, and enjoying a nice meal. So just wanted to share an experience that I had, two experiences. So one experience, I went out with my friends, and we went to a restaurant that was pretty nice looking on the outside. It had a lot of nice decorations. You go in, and the ambiance appeared to be really nice, and it was known as being a nice fancy restaurant. So we went, and I usually like to order a meal that I'm really familiar with, that if I see it on the menu, and see how that restaurant has their own take on it, how they have their own twist on it. So I ordered something that I normally order, and the waitress, they were okay. The service was okay. We waited. We had to wait a while to get seated, and then once we got seated, it took forever to get our food, and we didn't really get a lot of follow up. And when I got my food, the presentation wasn't all that great, and the meal was okay. It was edible, but it wasn't like, it didn't like wow me. And then a couple of months later, I went to another restaurant. It was more of a mom and pop restaurant, and it was really quaint. And we got seated right away. The waitress was phenomenal. She was very helpful with the menu, told us about the specials. And when I got my meal, it looked delicious. Like, the presentation was beautiful. It smelled delicious. I was just like, oh, I'm so ready to really eat this food, get into this meal. And she constantly checked to see how everything was. I really enjoyed that experience. I felt like I was like in a VIP section of the restaurant. and the food was great. And one thing that really made it taste amazing was the spices. It was the different spices that they put in the meal. It was the presentation and the taste and the ingredients. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about how you can spice up your customer experience and your customer service with your customers, so that you are able to better engage with your customers and retain. So we're gonna be talking about putting together that special recipe and making it nice and spicy and tasty for your customers. So and I just wanted to start off, like, I love reading different type of books. And one of the books that someone recommended me reading was a book by Jim Collins. And the name of that book was Good to Great. And that's what I really see when it comes to customer experience. And I also follow Scott McKain, and he has quite a few books about customer experience and customer service. And one of his books that I love is What a Customer Really Wants. And in that book, he speaks about exceptional service, not just okay service or good service, but good service. And what I'm going to talk about today is turning your customers into forever customers, into forever buyers. But the key element to doing that is to be exceptional and to not just be good, but being great. So that's what I'm going to go over, some key strategies on what you can do to be exceptional and be great. And the question is, why is it so important? Why is it so important to have forever customers? And one main thing is that it's more expensive to get a new customer than it is to keep the ones that you already have. If you just think about the key expenses that you have right now to acquire a new customer and the time it takes to get a new customer, you're depleting your profits by accumulating those expenses. So that's one key reason. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen to talk about another key reason, and that's the lifetime value. The power of retention goes into the lifetime value of a customer that you already have. So I am going to just do a brief demo to share my screen. I'm able to. If not, I will just.
No, just made you a co-host, so you can go ahead.
Okay, great. And okay, so just to give you a brief demo, so we have a lifetime value of a customer. And what is the lifetime value of a customer? And what that is pretty much the amount of time on average a customer stays with you and the amount of income potential on average you can get from that customer. So depending on the type of business model you have, it could be 1 year, it could be 3 months, it could be 10 years, it could even be 20 years. And that is basically like what the lifetime value of a customer is. So my first example is business one. And that business on average has a client that they provide a service for. And the average cost for that service is, let's say, $3,000. And let's say that client stays with them for 1 year. And after that year, they provide the service, they say thank you, they provided a basic service, and they never come back. The business never reaches out, there's no connection, they never come back. So that lifetime value of that customer is $3,000. And let's say the second business number two, provides the same service. In general, they charge usually the same amount for the service, but they utilize different strategies. So on average, they charge $3,000 for the basic service. But because they create a dynamic, exceptional experience, they have upsell opportunities. They provide other services to the client. So instead of the client just coming back for service for one time for that year, they come about 2 times on average. So just the income alone for that client is $6,000. Now, let's say because they provide an exceptional service and they really bond and engage with the client loves them and trusts them, they come back for an average of 10 years. And because of that, the lifetime value for that income for just that client alone is $60,000. And we're not even talking about investments in ads or advertisements or promotions. Now, let's say this client, because they're so happy with the service, they refer 10 people to their business. And out of those 10 people, 3 of those people turn into actual customers. So with that, they are able to get a total income from the referrals alone, if those customers stay with them for 10 years as well, of $180,000. So because of the retention of keeping that client for 10 years, plus the referrals, the total value of that customer is $240,000. When I first saw this, I said, wow, this is amazing. I mean, I understood the concept of retention and how it affects the bottom line. But when I saw this difference between keeping a client for one period of time as a one transaction, or in comparison to building a relationship and keeping them for a lifetime and building a community, I said, wow, this is phenomenal. So this is why retention is so important in your business, and why knowing the lifetime value of your customer is so important. And I will talk about that later on in the lunch and learn. So I don't know if you're surprised about that, but it's definitely is powerful when it comes to the success and engagement in your business. So what I'm going to do is go over one key strategy that you can start implementing today in your business to start retaining your clients and turn them into lifetime customers. And that is going back to the book from Scott McKain, What Your Customers Really Want. So the key strategy that I'm going to talk about is knowing what your customers want and need. And I know as business owners, we think of great ideas and we're very creative, but really knowing what your customers want and need is one key strategy to retaining, like going back to the restaurant. I may have not seen it, but I'm sure the business owner and the staff gets constant feedback from their customers. They better engage and they know what they like, what they don't like. And a lot of that experience is not by accident. A lot of it is intentional and strategic. Why you go back to certain businesses over and over again. It's the experience that you have that stands out, that keeps you coming back. And another key reason why it's so important to know what your customers want and need is, for one, it helps you to create new ideas that they actually are going to invest in. It helps you to find out new services. So instead of like the old saying, throwing the spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks, at this day and age, we can't afford or neither have the time to just hope that a new idea works. And why not just ask? In addition, asking what they want and need gives you a gold mine of content. We're always looking for content to put on social media. We're looking for content for putting for our newsletters. And when we engage with our audience, by asking what they want and need, you have an abundance of feedback to create the content that's going to connect with your audience. And what is the number one reason? For retention. You want to ask what they want and need, because that will help increase the retention. So the first is to get strategic to get feedback. And it's not just any old survey. You want it to be 10 questions or less, because you don't want it to take too much of your customers' time. You want them to actually take time to fill it out and complete it. And you want it to be geared towards their pain points. You want to make sure that the questions that you're asking is really finding out what their pain points are and what type of solutions they would like to see. So it does take time to think about these surveys and make sure that it's going to give you feedback that's really going to help you make great business decisions to provide that great service for your customers. The second thing is getting consistent feedback through email. That's another way that you can do it. You can figure out how often you want to send the email and the surveys, whether it's once a month or quarterly, depending on your business model, what you feel is appropriate, especially if you're going to implement a new initiative. And with today's technology, looking into social media, you can DM your followers to ask questions, one or two questions through a DM if you find that your followers are more on social media than checking their emails. Another thing is through interviews. An old school way that we used to do is just pick up the phone, right? Just pick up that old school phone. I know it's foreign, but pick up the phone and just speak with your customers, your clients, and ask them how things are going. What would they love to see? What would they like to see an improvement on? And they would be so excited to know that you care about what they want. So and the interviews could be informal or formal. They can be something where you write out questions and ask for 5 or 10 minutes of their time, or it can just be just very spontaneous after a session or after a transaction that you have, and say, hey, what are your thoughts? What do you like? What is it that you don't like? So it can be informal or formal, whatever works. But whatever you do, when you collect the surveys, when you collect the emails, when you get the interviews, make sure you're tracking all of this information. You're tracking this data so that you can put it together to make business decisions, that it's well organized, and you can see what feedback did you get in January? What feedback did you get in the summertime? What feedback did you get last year? So that you can see a trend and you can track this information, because information is so powerful when it comes to making business decisions and just seeing trends. So I would definitely recommend that as far as collecting data. Now, the second step is to be very nosy. You want to know what your competitors are doing, what they're up to. You want to know what their customers are satisfied with, what they're dissatisfied with. You can look at the reviews for your competitors, seeing what they're doing right, what they could be improving on. Do research on your industry to see where there's gaps. See where there's gaps that your competitors are not filling, that will give you the opportunity to have an upper hand, create a better experience than the competitors, and retain. So you definitely want to be in the know. I would recommend checking regularly, whether it's once a month or set a timer in your calendar to make sure you're checking in on your key competitors, especially those that are in your area. You always want to be in the know because it will help you get ideas and see where you can improve and stand out. So that is step one and step two. Step three is be consistent with your initiatives to get feedback, checking in with your competitors. Be very consistent. So I would suggest stay organized, find a way to stay organized to be able to be consistent with getting this constant feedback, especially when it comes to new initiatives. You want to make sure you get real-time feedback from your customers when you implement something new, because you want to know what they like and what they don't like so that you can fix it as soon as possible or improve it if needed. And you can do that by setting a calendar. You can do that by automation, but you definitely want to set up a system so that you don't lose track and you don't feel disorganized and it doesn't take up a lot of your time. I would recommend putting a schedule together the same way a lot of people have marketing schedules for their social media. Put a schedule together and say, okay, I'm going to send out an email ever so often. I'm going to do surveys ever so often, whether it's once a month or once every quarter, and set that schedule so that you can keep your schedule organized, especially if you have staff that could be assisting you with this feedback. And there's a lot of different automation tools that can make it easy for you so that you're not sending out manual emails all the time and you're not manually tracking the data. And just you can use apps like SurveyMonkey. There are a lot of other apps that are out there for surveys. When it comes to your business processes, I would suggest like Keep. Keep is a great way to keep track of data and emails. It has great automation systems. Also, 17 Hats is a great automation tool to keep track of your customers and reach out to them and keep in contact with them. There's a lot of automation that you can set up that way. There's also Benchmark One. That's a great tool for marketing and your CRM so that you keep track of your current customers and you're able to be able to organize how you communicate with them and your data. So those are 3 key steps that you can take today to better retain your customers, because the more you know your customers, the more you're able to cater to their wants and needs and customize that experience. So I hope the information that I shared with you was useful. And I just wanted to thank you for taking this time to spend with us here at this Lunch and Learn. And I wanted to offer, because what I went over was we barely scratched the surface. I gave you 1 key strategy, but I have at least about 15 other strategies that you can implement to retain. There are a lot of different strategies, and depending on your business model, there could be a lot more. And I can tell you right now, a lot of businesses are not taking advantage of customer experience to retain their current customers. It is money that businesses are leaving on the table, and in essence, you're losing money by not retaining your customers. Every customer that you had the potential to retain and you don't, that's money that you're losing, and it's eating into your income and your profits. And it is a way that you can stand out, because even the most successful businesses are not taking advantage of this. But I would love to be able to go over with you what your lifetime value is of your customers, because every business should know what their lifetime value is of the customer, what your potential is that you may not even realize. And I would love to go over with you one key strategy that I didn't go over today that you can personally implement into your specific business model so that you can better engage with your customers and retain. And for this, it's a 20-minute session. I normally value this session for $150, but because you're joining us today in this wonderful Lunch and Learn as a gift, just for today, I'm offering this service complimentary. So my link is in the chat, and it is chatwithmelinda.com. And from today, basically 24 hours, if you book a session with me, it will be complimentary. By tomorrow, by 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, that link will no longer be complimentary. So definitely, if you are looking to stop just relying on the income that you get from from the new customers, and be able to build those relationships to increase your profits and income and get some key strategies to make that easy, definitely reach out to me so that I could give you those strategies that you can put in today. So look forward to hearing from you, and I thank you for letting me share.
Melinda, you did a spectacular job, and one of the things that I really appreciated was the fact that you shared some great tools for people to use for customer retention. And saying, to tell people that they need something and to giving them the tools to doing it are two totally different things. And I appreciate the fact that you willingly and so much shared with them tools that are so important, because one of the and boy, are we all four of us on the same page as regarding customers. We work so hard to get a customer, and it's amazing how many businesses have those customers coming in the front door and leaving the back door just as fast as they're coming in the front door, because all their attention is just on, I got to get more customers, and they're doing nothing to keep the ones they've already bought and paid for that are there. And lifetime value is so critical, because as the question is, how can you know how much you can afford to pay to get a customer unless you know what a customer's worth? And you have to know that number. What's that number? And then you know what you can afford to pay in order to acquire a customer. So Melinda, great information.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
I hardly recommend that everyone be able to participate and take advantage of your complimentary offer for sure. So thank you, Melinda. Great information for sure. Customer retention, very few, there's not a business that doesn't need to gather more information on how to retain their customers and to make their customers happy. So great information. Thank you. I'd like to share with everyone, and by the way, just for our viewers, Rafael seems to be in his area having some internet challenges. As we all know, that can happen really easy from area to area and time to time and unexpectedly. So he has been muting his phone and his video, even though he is right there with us in spirit every second. But for some reason, the internet is acting up unexpectedly in his area, but through no fault of his own. So in the meantime, we'll just sort of, as the show goes on, right? So I'd like to share with everyone what I'd like to cover within the next few minutes before we bring up the amazing Robert, who you'll be hearing from in a few moments. And then, of course, Raphael after that. And that is 12 critical questions. One of the most important things that my business mentor taught me in years past was, don't worry about the answers. The answers are all there. They always have been there. They're omnipresent. We get the wrong answers in life simply for one reason. We ask the wrong questions. And when we ask the right question, we're going to get the right answer. So I'd like to share with everyone. We're going to do a little screen share here just for a few, just a couple of slides as I pull that up in the next moment. And we call this reference, or this particular part, the 12 what is my questions. And we call them the 12 what is my questions because these are the questions that everyone should be thinking about and asking themselves. Were you able, I can even by nod of head, are you able to see the slides that come in okay? Gotcha. Thank you so much. The first slide, basically, your critical, what is my questions? What should you be asking yourself? Those questions are so important because as whether we know it or not, our own lives and our businesses are genuinely self-fulfilling prophecies. We ask these questions, and so many people they ask themselves certain questions. They ask for what they do not want, and then they're surprised when they get it. But it was what they asked for. So what we're going to talk about here just for a few minutes is the importance of these 12 questions. The problem, sorry, wrong answer. You want and need the right answers. Asking the wrong questions only leads to the wrong answers. Only by asking the right questions are we able to find the right answers. So our solution, we actually do a 12-minute call, and it's the 12 minutes of what is my questions. What is my questions? The 12 critical income and business growth questions that will change and alter the way you're currently viewing your business and your income. These 12 questions are a subset of 70 questions that I used to teach business owners in the past. I was blessed to be able to teach presidents of companies, and I had 50 new ones in a room every single month. And they paid, quite candidly, $5,000 each. And it was a brand new every single month for a couple of years, as a matter of fact. And that was before internet and online courses and everything else. So it was very difficult to duplicate myself. And after 2 years, that was it. But I had one gentleman come up and tell me that the 70 questions, he said specifically he would have paid $5,000 just for those. Because when he answered the questions, it changed the way he viewed his business. And his business, interestingly enough, tripled as a result of the training and what he learned. So these 12 critical questions, they're a subset. But these are 12 critical questions that every business owner should ask themselves. The people that need these 12 questions, business owners, freelancers, got more people doing side hustles than ever before now, managers, independent reps. These are the 12 critical questions that they should ask themselves that will dramatically increase their own business and their own income. If we're getting the wrong answer, and we can tell if we're getting the right answer by simply looking in our bank account. If your bank account is not where you'd like it to be, you'll know if you've been asking the right questions or not, because there's the answer right there. So we get into what are these 12 questions and what do they do. You can easily double or triple your income and your business when you simply ask yourself the right questions. So we have a 12-minute call that's readily available. Right questions, right answers, double, triple your income. In 12 minutes. And the reason that this is done, I don't get into the 12 questions now because they're actually personalized questions. They're questions that are personalized for the person in particular and for their business. So they're adapted accordingly. And that's why we do this on a personal call as opposed to, just sort of in a group format, if you will, because it doesn't have the same intensity and intention as it does on a personal level. So we literally would have a 12-minute phone call. It's absolutely free, 12 minutes. That's it. At 12 minutes, I'm going to end the call because I will have covered everything that we need to cover. So there's no cost, but you will learn and you'll be able to write down the 12 most critical questions that every business owner should ask themselves. These are the questions that will get you the right answers. So the first thing is know the right questions to ask. When we ask the right questions, the right answers are always there. That happened over 40 plus years in my blessed business career, and I can share with you, it was the times I asked the right questions were the times I got the right answer. So that's really what I wanted to cover with everyone in my particular instance here is if you're interested in finding out what those 12 questions are as they relate to your business, if you're a freelancer, manager, rep for a company, or even a business owner, happy to go through those with you, and it'll genuinely a 12-minute call. We'll start it. 12 minutes later, I end the call. It's all done. And hopefully you'll receive some really valuable information you'll be able to use for the rest of your life in increasing your income and your business. So I will be putting that link in the chat. By the way, those that are interested in connecting with Melissa, I'm sorry, Melinda. Sorry, Melinda. With last name like Csolkovits, I pay attention to people's names. So, the But that's okay, because until I was 12 years old, I thought my name was Go Chop Wood. So, but then when I want to share, so she shared some great information, and her link, we placed it in the chat twice. So look for her link, click on it, and we'll be doing the same with Robert. He'll be talking shortly for those of you who want to connect with him, and also the same with Raphael. And you'll see my link in there. We'll place it in the chat twice. So just click on it, and all you do is book your 12-minute appointment. It's a Calendly link, so just click on it, what time works for you, and we'll invest 12 great minutes together teaching you 12 great questions. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Robert. Robert is an amazing gentleman. He has a great experience in the past. He is an international author. I know his next goal is to be intergalactic, but right now he's just keeping it within international. And Robert's last name is Riopel, and you will Riopel. Sorry. And Robert actually not only is a best-selling author, he's an app designer. Now, how many of us use apps, right? We use apps every single day in our business, and so much business is going in that direction. He's an entrepreneur, trainer, has been training for over 18 years. Literally traveled around the globe, training hundreds of thousands of people on how to not only increase their productivity, but also he teaches them on a very individual level, and they end up becoming more inspired and have greater results in their life. And really what he's going to be going through us are some fantastic information on the currencies of life. Now you think about what are the currencies of life? And that's what Robert's going to share with us. So Robert, if you would please, if you could share with our listeners and share with them some great golden nuggets today. And thank you for being on Heroes Rising.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you, EA, for that introduction. Melinda, you brought me back to my old Domino's Pizza days when I used to be a franchisee. And, you guys were both dropping such great nuggets of gold yourselves. And, kind of to go to your point, Melinda, I remember, not to date myself, but I sold my last Domino's Pizza 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So, a whole lifetime ago. And I remember I had one customer come into my store the one time, Mrs. O'Connor, still remember her. And she said, I need your help. She says, my son who has autism, he loves pizza, but no one can make the pizza the way he likes it. He likes it a very specific way. He likes just thin sauce. He likes a layer of cheese, and he likes pepperoni on a thin crust. That's it. Would you be able to make that? And we said, yeah, let us make it for you. Let us know what he thinks. And Robert loved it. And so she became a regular customer, and we weren't computerized at that time. But she was such a regular customer, lifetime customer, all of our staff, as soon as they saw her phone number, hi, Mrs. O'Connor, would you like the same pizza for Robert today? That was how quick an order could be. When we actually computerized over the next 3.5 years that my wife and I still own the store, it was tracking her orders. And I remember we were getting ready to turn the store over to the new owner. And I said, look, this is Mrs. O'Connor. I want you to see her order history. In the 3.5 years we've had computers, she's ordered for Robert, and sometimes her and her husband had a pizza as well, over 400 times in that 3.5 year period we were computerized. I said, you need to take care of her. I gave her a special pricing. Please continue that. And the guy looked at me, the new owner, and said, no, that's too cheap for a pizza. And he lost her business. And so when you were talking about the lifetime of a customer, their value, I'm so glad you're spreading that information, Melinda, because customers or business owners need to know this. You get great customers, you take care of them, they take care of you. They're the ones that are going to keep you in business. So I appreciate that information. And EA, I want to know those 12 questions now, man. You got me curious. I think I'm going to be booking in a time with you. You just got my mind going. So let's dive into the 4 currencies, because here's what happens for people. Again, I have been blessed to travel around the world and help so many people. And I've started to really watch people. I love watching people. And I noticed that the 4 currencies that people go through impact their lives. Now, the first currency is the one that we're all thinking of probably right now, the currency of money. And what I've realized is that you can actually have too much money, or you can have too little money. And actually, every single one of you that's watching, listening, whether on live or on the replay right now, you have your own zone of too much or too little. Now, if you have too much money, it's actually something that's called affluenza. Affluenza. And when you have affluenza, you know you do because you start spending money on silly things, or you start doing investments without doing the proper due diligence. You just throw money at it. And then you act surprised and shocked if the investment doesn't work out. And I know some of you can relate to that. Too little money in your life is called poverty. And when you have too little money, that's where the stress really comes in. And so every single one of you that's on this call, everybody in the world, they again have their zones. And, in my Domino's Pizza days, since we were talking about that, Melinda, when I was a Domino's Pizza franchisee, my affluenza level was about $100,000 a year. Anytime my wife and I got over that, we started making bad decisions, spending money we didn't need to spend, all of that. Our poverty level was 40,000. Every time we'd get around 40,000, we would be stressed out. How are we going to pay the bills? How are we going to be able to get groceries? All of that. Now, as you learn and you grow, and this is one of the reasons, Sifu, Raphael, I'm so glad to be connected with you because you help enhance people's lives. Because the more people learn, there is a beautiful universal principle that says this. It says your wealth can only grow to the extent that you do. So if you want to take your levels and you want them to adjust up, you have to grow you. You have to take care of you. And so today, as an example, my poverty level is about 200,000 a year because I like my lifestyle. My affluenza level is when I start hitting over $1 million a year. That's when I start to get a little crazy on my decisions. So my levels have gone up as well. So on the currency of life, just pay attention. Notice when you get stressed. Notice when you start making crazy decisions, and you'll be able to pretty much identify your zone. Don't worry about having to be specific. It's not, well, my poverty level is $29,993.82. You don't have to get specific like that. Just get a rough idea and then grow yourself to increase that. So that's the first currency. The second currency is the currency that all of us have the exact same amount of. I don't care who you are. I don't care how rich you are. It is a currency of time. And when we talk about the currency of time, there's a lot of people that the reason they don't grow or they don't take their lives to a new level, and I think, even the people on this call can probably relate to this. They're like, Robert, I am so busy. You don't know my life. I've got family, I've got business, I've got a job, I've got all these things going on. And when it comes to the currency of time, too much time on your hand is something called boredom. Too little time is stress. And what I've noticed is most people are really, really good at being busy, but they're not necessarily productive. And there's a world of difference between the two of those things. And so a lot of people get caught up, and I love to do time audits with people. How much time are you spending on social media? How much time are you spending on emails? How much time are you spending on all these things that take a lot of time, but they're not really productive? And a recommendation, a tool. On my calendar, I live by my calendar now. The first thing I put on my calendar, and this may surprise some of the people, is before anything else goes on my calendar, I put on my calendar what I call pamper pieces. Pamper pieces. These are time blocks to take care of me, because you cannot give what you do not have. So, wealth rule number one, think about money. Wealth rule number one, pay yourself first, which is really important. And my question to you is, if you're going to pay yourself money first, because that's critical to your wealth, why wouldn't you pay yourself in time first? Most people wait to take care of themselves at the end. So I'll go on there and I'll schedule in time for myself, time for my wife, my family, for my health, all of these things, they go on the calendar first. But then the second thing to make sure I'm productive that I put on my calendar is what's called focus time. Focused time. Because if you look at the research has shown that a person can really, and there's a lot of research out there. I focus on the one that talks about you can only really truly stay focused on something for about an hour at a time before you start to squirrel all over the place. And I think I'm the only one that ever squirrels, right? Am I the only one? And so when I put on my focus time, because I can sit there and I'm writing my new book and I can say, hey, I'm going to go to the office and I'm going to write my book. 8 hours later, I come out of my office. I go, man, was I busy? But I didn't get much done on my book. What was I doing? And when I look back, I was on social media, messaging, all those things. And I did a little bit on the book. So I'll actually put in my calendar, 1 hour chunk, say 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., write book. And when I come into my office, that's all I do for that hour. No other distraction. And in my life, I've noticed that 1 hour, and listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm about to free time up for you. 1 hour of focused time for me is the equivalent of about 6 hours of being busy. So if you're leading a very busy life, put a little focus in and watch how much time you can free up. I hope you're getting something from this so far. Let's go into currency number 3. Currency number 3 is a currency of fame, especially with social media the way it is today. Everybody wants instant gratification. And too much fame in your life, if you've noticed, ruins people's lives. And have you ever noticed, and let's take actors and actresses, the people that are celebrities. How many of you have ever noticed that someone hits a celebrity status and all of a sudden some people, they crash, they get into addictions, they get into all of that, and their life implodes. Whereas other people get the same kind of celebrity status, but they're able to handle it. So what's the difference? Well, even if you're watching virtually, I want you to do this. I want you to point at yourself and go, the difference is me. So everybody do that. So Melinda, EA, Sifu, I'm watching all of you. I want to see you guys do this. Come on, like this. The difference is me. Actually, I love that you're interacting. And the difference is you in how you handle the fame. And it's all in the conditioning that you have. What are you doing with the fame? Are you working on yourself that you can handle what's coming your way? And one of the ways to do that, because again, I want to give practical skills. I remember years ago watching an interview with Jennifer Lopez. And the person interviewing her said, Jennifer, you are a powerhouse. You're a singer, you're a dancer, you're an actress, you're an amazing businesswoman. But also in your family life, you're very solid there. How is it that you are able to maintain this? And her answer, I loved it. She said, look, I'm just me. I'm just me. She goes, now, when I'm in business, I'm J-Lo. That's my persona. I'm me as J-Lo. But when I'm home, I'm just Jennifer. And I went, wow. See, as I'm traveling around the world and I'm doing powerful trainings in front of hundreds and thousands of people at a time for 3 to 5 days, when I'm training, I'm Robert Raymond Riopel. That's my persona. That's who I am. But when I'm Robert, I'm at home. And a running joke my wife and I have when I come home from traveling around the world, she looks at me because I've got assistants help me everywhere. She goes, honey, you're at home again. No assistants here. Go take out the garbage. And I love it because it keeps me grounded. See, keeping yourself humble, being confident, not arrogant, is how you're going to be able to handle that currency of fame. Because one of the things I wish for all of you is I wish for you to have abundance and success beyond your wildest dreams. But not just that. I want you to be able to maintain it, not have it ruin your life, not have it destroy your life. I hope that's making sense. And let's get into currency number 4. And I know I've only had a little bit of time to go over these with you, but I will give you a resource of a way to connect with me if you want to learn more and do a deeper dive for sure. Currency number 4 is a currency I choose. And listen to my words, please. I choose to spend most of my time on. And that is a currency of experience. See, life is meant to be experienced, ladies and gentlemen, not to just exist. I love watching the videos of you, Sifu, where you're doing your workouts, where you're empowering, you're living it, you're living the message, you're experiencing what you're teaching people. That's what I watch for. And so everything I do today, I design it with an experience in mind. So as an example, I love to run masterminds, but I don't want to just run a mastermind. I want to run an experiential mastermind. An example of that, BC, before COVID, in January of 2020, so 2 years ago, I actually decided to do a private mastermind for me and 8 of my students. And I had those 8 students meet me in Florida. I'm from Canada, so I had to fly there as well. We met in Florida. We got to meet each other the night before. Then I had the very next morning, instead of just going into the mastermind with people helping each other, but I don't really know them, I'm going to hold back. Are they going to help me as much as I help them? With that uncertainty in place, you can still have a good mastermind. But by adding an experience to it, we actually at 7:30 in the morning hopped on a private jet. The private jet flew us to the Bahamas. We had 2 white Rolls Royces pick us up and give us a full police escort through the city to a Sandals resort, where we spent the whole day masterminding. Now, because of the experience, being on the beach, breaking bread together, we got to know each other. And in that one-day mastermind, we created 8 7-figure businesses right there on the spot. Because of the experience, we were willing to help each other even more. That night we flew home. We did a debrief the next morning. We were all supposed to be finished and at our flights and heading home by about noon, 4:00 in the afternoon. We're still connecting and talking and chatting because we had become instant friends, and we're all great friends still today. So what experiences are you creating in your life to allow you to go to a whole new level? To allow you to, the worst thing that could happen is you are at the end of your days and you're looking back and going, what did I really do with my life? What do I remember? Oh, I remember this crap and that crap. No, I want you looking back and going, wow, this experience with my family, my friends, the things that we did, because you're going to have good times, you're going to have not so good times. Which one's going to be the most predominant in your mind? And it's going to be the ones that you have the experience around that overpowers and helps you have that as a memory. So those are the 4 currencies that I'd love to, for you to really take on and start applying and noticing in your life. So go through them again: money, time, fame, and experience. And because we did only have a short time together, one of the things I'd love for each and every one of you to do, because, Sifu was so gracious to give me his time to be here and do this special with everyone, is my first book, which is an international best-selling book called Success Left a Clue. I go over 6 very important steps in here just for you listening, whether you're on the replay or you're on live. If you go to robertriopel.com, just my name, robertriopel.com, you're actually going to be able to download the entire digital copy of this book as our gift to you. Notice I didn't say it's my gift, because it's me, and because Sifu was gracious to have me here, I look at it as a gift from us. Now, I am going to say this does come with a caveat. And the caveat is this: I didn't write the book for you to read it, put it on the shelf, and make it shelf help. And I hope some of you got that joke. The step number 3 is you have to take action. In all my travels around the world, the number 1 difference between success and non-success is successful people take action. And so I actually wrote it as a workbook, which means there's action steps all the way through it. And I'll even say in the book, did you do the last action? If not, stop reading right now. Go back, do that action before you continue reading, because I know people are creatures of habit. And also, what I just added, Sifu, with this is when people go and they download the copy, they're also going to be able to schedule in a 20-minute strategy call with me, complimentary, where by answering some questions in advance, I'm going to be able in 20 minutes help them take 2022, make it the most epic year ever. In 20 minutes, we're going to strategize for their business or their job, their life, how to go to a whole new level, as another gift for them taking their valuable time to be with us. So I appreciate everybody listening. Thank you for being here on the recording or on live. And Melinda and EA, thank you for the valuable information you gave as well.
For sure, Robert. Thank you so much for being on Heroes Rising. And I love your last currency there. And I think it is true that no one ever said on their deathbed, I should have spent more time at the office. Right? No one's ever said those words, right? And to be a part of something great and something bigger than ourselves, and to realize that there are 4 really critical currencies in our life, and those currencies are a value, and that we should value them and don't let them slip through our fingers. And great information, Robert. Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing with everyone being able to download your book and not have it become shelf improvement, which I really appreciate, and to become self improvement. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you. And
Yeah,
also, by the way, we posted your link twice in the chat. So anyone that Robert wants to, where they can find that book and something, just go to the chat and we'll link it there. And click on it, and they're both good. A couple places for myself, for our other amazing guests that we have, and the one I'm about ready to introduce, and that is Raphael. And Raphael, we sort of missed you a little bit, but I know you were working through some tweaks here and there as you did, and it's doing pretty good now. So you rose above it. You were a hero rising. Look at that. How is that for results right in front of your eyes? You saw it. He's a hero who's rising. So a little bit about Raphael, because he's going to share with us. He's an entrepreneur, mental game coach, fitness and martial arts coach. If you've ever watched his workouts in the morning, he does a variety of workouts, and they're great. So many of them, by the way, are, you don't need special equipment or anything else. And he teaches what to do and how to do it, and he posts it on a consistent basis. And that part of that mental game is he has that mental discipline, that consistency. Raphael is a true advocate of keep showing up. Keep showing up, and he certainly does every single day. He does advanced mental game training for people. He's trained literally thousands of people. He's worked with groups, individuals, businesses. He helps them find clarity. Sometimes today it's so easy, especially in, most recent challenging times. There are so many people walking around, and you can tell by looking at them, they're walking around in a fog. They really are. You can tell you look in their eyes, and you can see it's just like they're just glazed over and beat up, and all the fear mongering going on. And so many, unfortunately, have bought into it. And Raphael's the kind of person that raises them above and says, "Hey, let me help. I'm going to be the wind and help blow that cloud away and give you some more clarity." So he helps people with their purpose, their understanding, who they really want to be in this world, and he helps them have a life that really matters. And I was so blessed to months and months and months ago when I reached out to Raphael and said, "I'd like to be on your great podcast." And he said, "Love to have you." And then it wasn't a couple of weeks later after we had our interview, then he reached out and said, "I'm thinking about having this event, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, but if you'd love to, I'd love to have you come along and be a co-host." And I said, "I'd love to, because I never say anything in 10 minutes if I can say it in 20. So it's it's perfect." I'd love to be able to do just that. And what a great friendship has unfolded. And I can tell you truthfully, there's leaders that lead, and there's leaders that lead from their heart. And you can tell the difference. It's not only the look in their eyes, but it's also the things they do and the deeds that they do. Not having someone looking over their shoulder, do this, do this, do this. You can tell they're doing it because that's where their heart is. And that's where Raphael is. So Raphael, my awesome friend, thank you so much. And please share with our viewers with Heroes Live today some of amazing nuggets from your world.
Thank you, EA. Great introduction. Now I got to send you a check in the mail. So
you could send that to. No, I forgot to mute my mic. I hate that.
Before we go on about me and what I do, and because I have fun, every day is worth living if you have a purpose, right? But look, EA, he's just an amazing individual. So go ahead. Go ahead. Something's happening here. Anybody? Recordings going on? Okay. So EA, I would book those 12 minutes with EA because the guy is just incredible. Look, he's sat in front of millionaires who've paid him $5,000 a session, group of business owners, entrepreneurs who've paid him this kind of money to learn from him. Not only like a few things, but hundreds of techniques. And he's going to share that with you in 12 minutes. Let's go ahead and book that call with EA. By the way, from what my understanding, he's not going to do this much longer. He does it every so often, and then he stops. And you don't want to come back and go, "Oh man, I wish I would have called EA." That's what we call procrastination. This is something you don't want to hold up on. He's not charging you anything. But look, he's going to spend 12 minutes with you. What's the last thing you did that lasted 12 minutes and you got tons of information? Let's go ahead and give EA that call. So let's talk about me for a little bit. For me, my purpose in life has always been helping other people. And when I realized that as a child I was told I can't change the world, and the more I look into it, they're wrong. I can't change the world one person at a time, right? So here's the thing. It made me think of psychology, our mind. What's our mindset? What's a leader? How can you lead people to do things? You can't sit back and bark orders, because some people will listen because maybe they want to get to where you are. But that's not, to me, that's not a real leader. So this is why I do videos. This is why anytime someone asks for help, I don't just say do it like this. I said, how can I help you do it? Let me help you. Let me get it going so that we can help you achieve the goals that you want. When I work with a client, it's not my goals. I know what my goals are. It's the client's goals. That's who I'm looking for. That's the person who makes the most sense to me. Once again, it's not about me. So leadership, mindset. How do we accomplish these things? First, you got to set a goal, and it has to be attainable. So how do we set an attainable goal? Let's say I want to travel next year and I want to go for a month away. Normally I go for 5 days. So how do you do that? First, you have to set your business up so that your business can still run when you're away for a month. Then you have to have the finances to sustain that living when you're away from home, because guess what? You still have to pay your mortgage if you have one. You still have to pay your internet, and you guys know I had trouble with mine. I did pay the bill. So here's the thing. If we plan for our success, we have to think about the details of that plan. We can't just put in plan, I want to go to, Australia for a month. Okay, cool. You have to also set a plan of how to. So an action steps. And that's what's going to help you get to your trip, your next goal, your vehicle, anything you want. But the action steps. And then you have to break them even down to not what am I going to do next month, but what am I going to do today? What am I going to do tonight? What am I going to do tomorrow? So if it's a year goal, you have 365 action steps you have to take. And the problem that everyone has is they don't set 365 action steps. They'll set 10, 12, 20. But if I have a month goal, then I have to set 30 action steps. Maybe 30 per day, however many, but I need at least 30 sheets to write down all my action steps for that goal to be accomplished. When EA and I started talking, and I said, I want to do this thing and I want you to come along with me. Once I explained it to him, he's like, I'm in. But I said, we have to do this a certain way. And the more we talked, the easier it became because we had action steps. We started with one of these lunch and learns. We've had several. Don't get me wrong, we've had trouble along the way, right? Obstacles always get in your way. Either push them out of the way, climb over them, get somebody else to move them for you, but keep going forward. So we're not done with this action steps that we're taking, right? We're posting things. So my action step was to have a live event, right? This is what I told 2EA. I want to plan this along so we have a live event. Now, here's an obstacle that we are facing. We do still have an infection out there, a disease, COVID. So are we going to be able to do it in May of 2022? Probably not. So we're going to do a virtual event, but we're still going to do a live event, and we may have to push it to September or October. Now, do me a favor. Put in the comments if you think that you would like to come to a live event, not only with the people I have on today, but all my previous guests, all my previous speakers, and the many more we're going to be having. I have created an immense connection with amazing coaches all over the world. It's not just here in the United States. I'm talking to people in Italy, in Ireland, in the UK, all over, Singapore, everywhere, England, everywhere. And here's
Canada.
you like that, right? You're coming?
I said Canada. You're also talking to people here in
I'm
Canada.
sorry, yes, Canada. Yes. And an amazing Robert in Canada. Here's the thing, right? When we think about being in a room with people who have so many gifts they want to give you, raise your hand if you want to be there. Oh my gosh. Everybody, let me see you guys. Put your hands up. And put it in the comments. Say, yes, I want to be there. Because we're going to have two events now. I thought of one, but now with two. We're going to have a virtual event where we're going to have all these amazing coaches. We're going to make it a 3-day event. And we're going to have better internet connection. And we're also going to do a live event where you get to meet all these people. We're going to have authors. Robert's going to sign his book for you guys. I have so many other people who are going to be signing their books. This is going to be an amazing, amazing event. And it wouldn't have come to fruition had I not first had the thought, then put it in paper, and then started to cultivate that plan. So my plan was there, and I saw an opportunity. So sometimes we don't know when an opportunity is going to present itself. And the opportunity comes by a name of EA. Because I knew that he would be the person that I can collaborate with, and we can make this thing a reality. And then I said, it's just EA and I are great, but it's not enough. I need a group. I need a crew. I need an entourage of amazing people. So my entourage, I've been presenting to you. Today, we have Melinda, we have Robert. Amazing stuff they delivered to you guys today. I look forward to seeing everybody at our events. And please follow everyone here. Follow them on their social media. Follow them everywhere. Because guess what? Everyone here is going to give you something. Hang on a minute. This doesn't happen every day. Something of value for free. No charge. Totally free. Look, you can download a whole book. Do it today, guys. But, do me a favor. And Robert might be mad. I don't know. But don't download the book. Don't do it. If you're not going to take action, you have to take the action. If you're not going to do it, don't waste your time. Listen, opportunity is open to those who see it and take advantage of it. So if you see an opportunity and Robert presented one to you, take it. Download the book. Better yet, I'm getting a signed copy. So why don't you guys, even if you download the book, go ahead and buy one from him. Because I'm sure if you ask him, he may even sign one for you. Guys, thank you so much for allowing myself and EA to come into your homes, your offices, wherever. You might be on a mobile phone. We don't know where you are. But this is the beauty of the internet. This is the vision someone had so many years ago that has allowed us this opportunity to connect. EA, do me a huge favor and just let everybody know who we're having in February. It's right around Valentine's, guys. Right around Valentine's. So we're going to show a lot of love. Go ahead, EA.
I'm pulling it up right now. Let's see. I pulled it up and I got the thumbnail. So give me half a second here. I got the thumbnail. Let's see. we have. Um, you know what? My bad. Let me give me half second
I
here.
can take it if you want.
Yeah, could you please? I have Arlene and Erica, and I'm
Yeah,
just
no
looking for
problem.
both their last names. So
So
if you could please, Raphael.
it'll be my pleasure. So
Thank you.
on February 11th, Friday at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, we're having Arlene Washburn. My God, she is amazing. She's a certified professional matchmaker and science-based dating and relationship coach. She's coached other coaches who are matchmakers. She's taught matchmakers. She is the number one coach, I think, worldwide. So she's going to teach us how to have a healthy and romantic relationship. Listen, romance is great, but put healthy into it. Man, that's a great, great topic that she's going to talk about, and it's going to be February 11th. And then we have Erica Thomas. She's a resilience coach. Oh my God. She's going to teach you how to truly, truly be resilient, not only in your personal life, but in your business. So she's also going to talk to us about holding space through trauma sensitive communication. You know, sometimes we have things that happen in our lives and we don't know how to communicate that. So she's going to teach us all those things. And I can't thank you guys enough. Melinda, Robert, EA, you guys, great, great content today. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Raphael, and thank you, Robert and Melinda. Great chatting with both of you, and for our listeners, thank you. And please set your reminder now for February. It's the 11th, right, Raphael? February 11th.
February 11th.
Set your reminder for the next one, and view the hero events as mentoring sessions. That's what they are. They're great mentoring sessions. And even if you've heard information before, it only takes one idea, one new thought that maybe you heard in a 30-second clip out of 30 minutes that can change everything in the way that you look at something or increase your income that much. So thank you, every single one of you. Thank you for our listeners. God bless you all. And as we say at Givers University, don't just have your best day, have your best day ever.
Enjoy, everybody. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what happened, but thank you guys. You guys were amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. As always, I was honored. Thank you.
Yeah. So listen, for May, we'll talk about, doing this 3-day event, and we'll give you guys a bigger platform, like an hour, 45 minutes, whatever it is that you want, so that you can have the time to do it.
Perfect.
And I think I'm going to fly and be with EA that time for those 3 days. We're going to he and I will be together. Anybody wants to fly out there, we'll do it together, or you do it from your home, wherever it's more comfortable. But then the live event, we're looking to have a venue where it might be in, either Caribbean or somewhere warm, where it's an inclusive type of place, so people can come and stay. They don't have to think about where to have to go eat. It's all included. So that's what we're looking at. So,
Yeah, definitely let me know when you're talking about the live event too, and see what I can do to fit in my calendar. I'd love to come and be of service in any way I can.
great. And I'll let you know when we start finalizing the May event also.
Yeah, perfect.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, definitely.
Have your best day.
Yeah. Yes. Have a great weekend.
Nice to meet you, Melinda.
Yes, nice to meet you. Definitely like to be in touch.
All right.
You guys have each other's emails, so go ahead.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Have a great one.
You too. Bye-bye.